The ultimate question is, why did the jury acquit? Is it because they're racist?
America is inherently biased.
So the jury is racist.
Have you seen the
I'm asking you a question. No, don't change the subject. Is it because the jury is racist?
Yes.
Okay.
The jurors.
Even the black person on the jury.
Would you like to hear something from
Yeah.
me? I believe that even black people can be anti-black.
Hey guys, what's up? Matt Miller here, and watch this News Nation anchor spar with this BLM activist who says that Daniel Penny is a murderer and that this innocent verdict that we saw come in yesterday is proof that the entire nation is racist. She thinks that Jordan Neely, the guy who went crazy on the subway train that was choked out and unfortunately killed in this altercation, that he was totally innocent even though he was threatening passengers and going absolutely crazy. But watch just how unhinged her argument really is.
So do you not blame Jordan Neely at all? I mean, for what he did? He deserves no blame from your perspective, right?
Did you hear the witness testimony?
I'm asking you a question.
Or are you cherry-picking the ones?
I'm asking you a question. Do you blame Jordan Neely at all for his conduct?
If Jordan Neely was a white man, we'd be saying it was an opioid crisis. He was hungry. He was mentally ill. He had a muffin in his pocket.
I wouldn't be if there were other. What about the witnesses? Let's play again, just so we're clear on the race.
Play Eddie Gibson, who begged Daniel Neely to stop.
Oh, again, but he stayed there throughout the incident.
Play the ones that fit the narrative.
But what's the narrative? There's black women who were on the subway. It was mostly people of color on the subway.
What about a white man during cross-examination who said that he was afraid of Daniel Penny, the one who poured water onto his head and said that he was afraid? He was a white man.
Yeah, okay, so... And
what about the Latino man who was holding his arms?
I'm not the one identifying everyone by race. You are. You're the one who keeps telling... Why? Why do you have to? There was nothing in this case.
Because when you look at the FBI, when you look at when hate crimes happen, when you look at when injustice happened to black people,
but let's agree.
We don't get justice.
Let's agree to some... Look, I'm going to be doing a segment later this week on a missing black woman who has not been getting nearly enough attention.
Send it to me and I'll share the post.
By the media.
Absolutely.
Because I understand that, and to that degree, you have a fair point about the way sometimes the media and the justice system handles. But not in this case. This case, even the prosecutors conceded Daniel Penny had every right to go hands-on, and the question became, okay, when should he have stopped? I understand that.
The time frame on that from the DA's office was after 30 seconds. Can you not concede that Daniel Penny was a trained killer, that he not have his gray belt? United States Marine Corps is an assassin?
Sure, but
he knew.
Let me finish. Every Marine is a trained
because
assassin.
Actually, black Marines and white Marines have reached out and actually told us he went too far.
But going too far is different from criminal.
Let me break it down. A chokehold, a blood chokehold, which he did. You're only supposed to hold someone in that move for 8 to 13 seconds. Yeah. You're not supposed to do it longer than 2 minutes. Why did Daniel Penny, when the train was completely clear, everyone was on the platform, why did he hold it for nearly 6 minutes?
Because he was scared.
A Marine is scared of of someone he labeled as a crackhead.
Again, is it not possible that Daniel Penny, when he's doing this on the spot, stepping up to help people of many different races, moves in and doesn't have a clock with him to decide when he should stop and when he shouldn't, which is why, in the end, the jury acquitted, right?
No, actually, Daniel Penny was trained very well by the United States Marine Corps.
First of all, for BLM to come out and try to say that this was a racist act and that this is proof that our entire society is racist is so absurd. There were 40 witnesses that came forward during this case and said that Neely, the guy who was going crazy on the train, he was threatening passengers. He was acting in a belligerent, crazy way. He definitely had mental health problems and substance abuse problems. And they overwhelmingly said that Daniel Penny's actions were justified. They were called for. They felt scared. And these witnesses that are vouching for him are, as this news anchor says, of all different races. You would think that the black and brown witnesses would point it out very clearly if Daniel Penny was being racist or if his actions were out of line or not called for, but that's not the case. Witnesses of all races and genders are coming forward and have said that Daniel Penny's actions were justified. The other thing here is, I can speak to a little bit what actually happened in the physical altercation. I've been training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 6 years, almost 6 years now. And when it comes to blood chokes, the BLM activist is actually right. You want to let go sooner than later. You want to, put the person to sleep. In training, obviously, you wait till they tap out. But and then you immediately release it once they tap out. But in a street fight situation, you would want to make sure the person is totally out and asleep. And then you would let go because you're disconnecting blood getting to their brain. And if that's held for too long, then this tragic situation can happen here where the guy unfortunately passes away. But when you don't know what all the information is and you're scared, even if you're a trained Marine, you will be scared in a physical altercation. You don't know if the guy has a weapon. You don't know what he's willing to do, if he's going to, gouge your eyes out, headbutt you, pull out a knife, pull out a gun, whatever is happening. And it really is in that moment, you're just thinking about, I want to live. I want to survive this situation. I had to take action. I had to step in, but I'm going to survive at all costs. And if the guy was threatening him in some way and was still fighting and threatening himself and other passengers, then I could see how somebody would say, you know what, in that moment, I'm just going to squeeze. I'm just going to keep control at all costs, and maybe lost track of time and how long he was squeezing. And this result is very plausible. It's very, very unfortunate, but I could definitely understand from a martial arts and self-defense standpoint how it happened. So, yes, she's right. He should have let go sooner, but I think that you have to understand the reality of these situations. They're not perfect. You don't have a timer. You don't have a referee. It's a very, very unfortunate situation. Violence is extremely serious. But let's get back into the rest of this debate.
And he knew what the signs were. He knew when Jordan's body was slacking. He knew that Jordan was going to die. Why didn't you show his face, Dan? You're a good man. Of when he laughed and when the first response, I'm critical of the police. We know this, right? NYPD tried to save his life while they were doing chest compressions. Daniel Penny laughed and said chest compressions. A good person, a hero. One last thing. Why did he never ask about the well-being in that police department about Jordan Neely?
So
he was a hero.
You're asking a lot of questions that are sort of rhetorical questions, right? But the ultimate question is, why did the jury acquit? Is it because they're racist?
America is inherently biased.
So the jury is racist.
Have you seen?
I'm asking you a question. No, don't change the subject. Is it because the jury is racist?
Yes.
Okay.
The jurors.
Even the black person on the jury.
Would you like to hear something from
me?
I believe that even black people can be anti-black. People are predeceived to see black people as a threat and as a victim because people called in. You heard the voice recordings when they called 911. Jordan Neely was in a chokehold for over 4 minutes, turning purple, which black people do in fact do that, and people still saw him as a harm. Even when his body went limp, he was still viewed as a criminal. So I'm sorry if I'm going to defend the needy, if I'm going to defend the poor. Why does no one talk about when Jordan Neely came on asking for water and being thirsty? Why does no one talk about...
Because that's not what happened right here. What happened right here, the reason he was held was not because he was asking for water. It's because he was scaring the heck out of everyone on the subway, which apparently he's done before.
Dan, anyone who has rode the New York City subway has encountered mentally ill people. Why are we not having this conversation? And we don't kill them.
But you know what?
We offer help or we get out of the way.
But more people wish people would step up more and help and stop people from doing it.
So are you giving a license to vigilantism? Are you saying that
it's not vigilante?
Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is, you know what I'm saying is it's very unfortunate. I think Daniel Penny would say it is really unfortunate that he died.
I think that the news anchor here is right to keep this conversation on track and ask the question, why did the jury acquit Daniel Penny? Is it because they are racist? And she says even the minority, black and brown jurors are racist. They're biased. They have anti-black bias. And she says even black people can be biased. Now, I understand that as a concept. I think that could be true. I just think that this case is so cut and dry. If you look at the information that has come out in the trial, it's so hard to spin this as an act of racism or anti-blackness. And I get it. Like, yes, maybe black people can have biases against black people, and there certainly are white people that have biases. That's fine, but it doesn't mean that the entire country is racist. It doesn't mean that Daniel Penny is racist. This is a self-defense situation, or somebody who stepped up to try to control the situation that was getting out of control on the New York subway, and it went wrong. It did not turn out as intended. It was a mistake. It was an accident, but it wasn't completely unprovoked. This guy was a threat, and so many of the witnesses have come out and said that. The other piece I think that's important here is that the New York City subway is an absolute circus. It's just, you know, people have been saying for years how they don't feel safe on the subway. New York City, among other Democrat-run cities, are just getting worse and worse. They're being run by people who don't believe in law and order, and they wanted to defund the police just a few years ago. Does that sound like a good idea? Defunding the police, defunding the NYPD? Bill de Blasio wanted to do that. Or he did do that. He took $1 billion out of their budget. Is that going to make the city a safer place? Is that going to make the subway safer for New Yorkers? And it sucks because I love New York City. I have a lot of love for the entire city, and I think that it should be kept a safe place for the people who live there. You need to have a strong police presence because there are a lot of bad elements in urban areas. And if they're run by wishy-washy, soft-on-crime Democrats, the problem is never going to get solved. You need somebody like Rudy Giuliani to go in there and clean it up. I mean, he got rid of not only street crime and thugs and street violence, but he also cleaned up the mafia, organized crime, people who were operating at a different level of criminality. And the guy cleaned house, and the city turned out better because of it. It's very hard to argue that Giuliani didn't do a good job when it came to law and order managing New York City. And I think that it takes that mentality, somebody who's not afraid to do what needs to get done and isn't worried about the headlines, isn't worried about the liberal media calling them racist or whatever. They're not being racist. They are cracking down on crime, and they're taking the measures that need to get taken to keep the city safe and to keep the people who are there trying to live, trying to raise families, trying to go to work on the subway. They're just trying to keep them safe. I don't think that a drug addict or a crazy person has more rights than somebody who's trying to go to work and feed their family. Whether it's in New York City or rural Montana or wherever, we need people who believe in law and order and aren't afraid to take action. So let me know what you guys thought of this clip in the comments. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so you guys get notified when we post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.